Ladies and gentlemen, there are moments in life when we feel an unseen force guiding us, whispering to our hearts and leading us to places we never expected. Have you ever experienced an unexplainable peace in the midst of chaos? Have you ever felt a sudden deep conviction that changed the course of your life? Ew, what if I told you these are not coincidences but clear signs that something divine is walking beside you? Too often we look for miracles in the extraordinary, yet the greatest evidence of divine presence is often found in the small everyday moments. By the end of this message, you will have no doubt whether or not this powerful presence is following you. You will learn to recognize these 7 undeniable signs, and once you do, your life will never be the same again. Even in the most difficult moments, you find yourself at peace. While others panic, something inside you reassures you that everything will work out. This peace is not from the world. It is supernatural. You no longer settle for the surface level. You crave wisdom, understanding, and knowledge that brings you closer to the divine. Your heart seeks truth in all things, and deception no longer has power over you. There is a shift in your desires. What once entertained you no longer satisfies. You no longer find pleasure in things that pull you away from righteousness. Instead, you yearn for purity, love, and purpose. You begin to see the world differently. You can sense when something is right or wrong without explanation. Your spirit recognizes deception, and your heart is drawn to truth. Your life begins to change, not just externally, but from within. Your thoughts, your words, and your actions reflect a transformation that others cannot ignore. People see the difference even if they don't understand it. Doors open that no one can explain. Blessings come when you least expect them. At times, you feel an overwhelming presence in your life, guiding you, comforting you, and reminding you that you are never alone. You feel a pull towards something greater. You know you have a purpose and you cannot ignore it. The more you try to run from it, the stronger the calling becomes. There is something deeply profound about recognizing the presence of the divine in the simplest moments of our lives. Many people expect grand miracles, earth-shattering revelations, or audible voices from the heavens to confirm that something greater is walking with them. However, the truth is far more intimate, far more subtle, and yet undeniably powerful. Imagine waking up one morning with a deep sense of peace, even though your circumstances haven't changed. Perhaps your challenges remain, your struggles persist, but there is a calm assurance in your heart that everything is under control. This is not mere optimism or wishful thinking. It is the divine presence making itself known to you. In everyday life, this presence reveals itself in ways we often overlook. You may find yourself having an unexplainable urge to take a different route home, only to later discover that there was danger on your usual path. You may feel a sudden heaviness to pray for someone, only to learn that they were going through a life-altering moment at that very time. These experiences are not coincidences. They are clear signs that something unseen is guiding you, walking beside you, and ensuring you are exactly where you need to be. Have you ever been in a difficult situation and found words coming out of your mouth that you never planned to say, words filled with wisdom and authority beyond your understanding? That is another sign of divine presence. It equips you with the right words at the right time, even when you feel unprepared. It gives you insight and discernment that you know could not have come from your own intellect alone. This presence does not just show up in grand spiritual experiences. It manifests in conversations, decisions, and even in moments of silence when you suddenly know what to do without explanation. Another way you can recognize this presence in your life is through divine appointments, people being placed in your path at exactly the right moment. You might meet a stranger who says something that directly answers the question you've been asking in prayer. You might receive unexpected help when you need it most. This is how the divine orchestrates things in ways we cannot comprehend, ensuring that our steps are aligned with a greater purpose. Then there is the unmistakable feeling of being comforted when you should be breaking down. Others may crumble under the weight of trials, but you find yourself standing firm not because you are stronger than others, but because something greater is sustaining you. You may feel burdened but never crushed, pressed bruised but never broken. There is a supernatural strength that carries you when you have none left. That strength is not your own. It is a clear sign that something divine is following you, watching over you and lifting you up when you cannot lift yourself. One of the most beautiful aspects of experiencing this presence is the undeniable shift in your desires. What once satisfied you no longer does. The things you once chased seem empty, and a hunger for something greater begins to grow in you. This is not by accident. It is a gentle leading, a pulling of your spirit towards something more fulfilling, more eternal. You begin to desire truth over deception, purpose over emptiness, and meaning over distraction. This is how you know you are being followed, not by an ordinary presence, but by a divine one that seeks to guide you into a life of significance. When you begin to recognize this presence in your daily life, everything changes. Your perspective shifts, your choices become clearer, and your faith is strengthened. You no longer feel alone in your struggles. You no longer live in fear of the unknown. Instead, you walk in confidence, knowing that wherever you go, you are being led by something greater than yourself. And once you become aware of this truth, there is no going back. There is a kind of peace that defies logic, a kind of joy that cannot be explained by circumstances. It is not the fleeting happiness that comes from material success, nor is it the temporary relief that follows when things go our way. It is something much deeper, something that remains unshaken in the face of trials, disappointments, and the storms of life. This kind of peace and joy does not originate from the world. It is a supernatural gift, a sign that something greater is walking with you. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm with the wind howling and the waves crashing all around you, yet feeling completely calm on the inside. The people around you may be panicking, overcome with fear, wondering how you are not breaking under pressure. But within you, there is an unexplainable sense of security. You know that no matter how fierce the storm, you are not alone. This peace is not based on the absence of struggle, but on the presence of something divine. It reassures you that, despite the chaos, you are held, protected, and guided. Many people spend their lives searching for peace in external things, money, relationships, career success, but those things are fragile. They can be taken away in an instant. One moment of bad news, one unexpected loss, and everything can come crashing down. But when your peace comes from a source beyond this world, it cannot be stolen. It does not depend on your bank account, the approval of others, or the certainty of your plans. It is rooted in something unshakable, something eternal. That is why even when everything around you seems uncertain, you do not crumble. Then there is joy. A joy that is not dictated by what is happening in your life, but by something far greater. This joy is not the kind that fades when difficulties arise. It is the kind that remains even in suffering, even in loss, even in the waiting. Have you ever met someone who, despite going through unimaginable pain, still radiates joy? They are not pretending. They are not in denial. They have simply tapped into something supernatural, something that lifts them above their circumstances. This joy is a quiet confidence that no matter what happens, there is a greater plan at work. It is the ability to smile through tears, to remain hopeful when everything says you should give up. It is not forced, nor is it something you create on your own. It is placed inside of you, a constant wellspring that continues to flow even in the driest of seasons. It is a joy that strengthens you, that carries you, that refuses to let darkness overtake you. Have you ever been in a moment where you should have been overwhelmed with anxiety, yet you felt a deep and unshakable calm? Have you ever faced loss, yet found yourself comforted by a peace that made no sense? Have you ever walked through disappointment and still found reasons to be thankful? These are not ordinary experiences. They are signs that something greater is working in your life, filling you with a peace and joy that the world cannot give. People will notice this in you. They will wonder how you remain steady when others are falling apart. They will ask why you are still smiling when things are not going your way. And when they do, you will know that it is not by your strength, but by something divine that follows you, surrounds you, and dwells within you. It is this peace that makes you unmovable. It is this joy that gives you strength, and once you experience it, you will never want to live without it again. There comes a moment in life when everything around you seems uncertain. Plans fall apart, people disappoint, and the path ahead looks foggy and unclear. In these moments, many people are consumed by doubt, anxiety, and fear. But there are those who stand firm unshaken with a quiet confidence that no matter what happens, they are being led by something greater than them, something greater than themselves. This kind of faith is not ordinary. It is not something that can be manufactured through positive thinking or sheer willpower. It is a deep, unwavering trust that defies circumstances, a trust that is not dependent on what is seen but on what is known in the depths of the soul. This faith does not mean that life will be without hardship. In fact, it is often in the most difficult seasons that unshakable faith is truly revealed. When everything looks impossible, yet there is an assurance that things will work out, that is faith. When doors close, but instead of despairing, there is an understanding that something better is ahead. That is trust. When the world says to give up, but there is a quiet voice inside whispering, keep going, that is a sign of something divine working in your life. Faith like this is not built in comfort. It is not developed in times of ease where everything goes according to plan. It is forged in the fire of trials, in the moments when there is no visible solution, yet a deep knowing remains. This is the kind of faith that makes no sense to the world. It is the kind of faith that looks at a mountain and believes it will move, even when there is no evidence of it yet. It is a trust so strong that it silences fear, a confidence so deep that it overcomes doubt. Think of the moments in your life when you had nothing left but faith. Maybe it was when you faced a crisis and no one could help, but somehow a way was made. Perhaps it was when you lost something or someone, and even in grief you felt a supernatural strength carrying you through. Or maybe it was when you had every reason to walk away from your purpose, yet something inside kept pulling you forward. These moments are not accidents. They are clear signs that you are being led by something beyond yourself, something that is guiding your steps even when you do not understand where you are going. One of the most beautiful aspects of unshakable faith is the freedom it brings. When you trust in a plan greater than your own, you no longer live controlled by fear. You do not have to have all the answers because you know you are being led by the one who does. You no longer panic when things don't go your way because you believe that what is ahead is better than what was left behind. You do not have to force doors open because you know that the right ones will open at the right time. This kind of trust changes everything. It changes how you see challenges, not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. It changes how you respond to delays, not with frustration, but with patience, knowing that timing is always perfect. It changes how you face the unknown, not with fear, but with excitement, because you know that something greater is at work. When you have this kind of faith, you become unstoppable, not because life is easy, but because nothing can shake the foundation you stand on. People will look at you and wonder why you are not afraid, why you are still moving forward when others have given up. And the answer is simple. You are not walking alone. You are being led, strengthened, and sustained by something greater than yourself. And once you trust in that, there is nothing in this world that can break you. There is a moment in every person's life when they are faced with choices, some obvious, some subtle, and some that seem harmless but carry hidden consequences. The ability to distinguish between what is right and what only appears to be right is not a skill that comes from intellect alone. It is something deeper, something intuitive, something that cannot be explained by logic, but is undeniably real. This is spiritual discernment, a supernatural ability to sense truth from deception, light from darkness, and wisdom from foolishness. It is one of the clearest signs that you are not walking through life alone. Many people navigate life relying solely on their own understanding, making decisions based on what they see, hear, or feel in the moment. But those with spiritual discernment have an internal guide, a knowing that is not dependent on appearances. Have you ever met someone who seemed perfectly kind, yet something in your spirit told you that something was off? Have you ever been offered an opportunity that looked like a blessing, yet deep inside, you felt a warning not to accept it? That is discernment at work. This ability does not come from human wisdom alone. It is a sign that you are being led by something greater than yourself, something that is revealing what is hidden and protecting you from what you cannot see. It is the reason why some people can walk into a room and instantly sense the atmosphere, why they can listen to someone's words, but hear what is not being said, why they can see beyond the surface and recognize the true nature of a situation. Spiritual discernment does not just protect, it also directs. It helps you make decisions that align with your purpose. It keeps you from walking through doors that look good but lead to destruction. It prevents you from forming connections with people who do not have your best interests at heart. It warns you of hidden dangers and confirms when something is right, even if it does not make sense to others. This discernment is not always loud. Sometimes it is a quiet nudge, a sense of unease that you cannot shake, a small whisper that says, "This is not for you." Other times it comes as overwhelming clarity, a deep knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. Those who follow this guidance often find themselves avoiding unnecessary pain and regret, walking a path that others do not understand but later recognize was the right one all along. The world is full of deception. What looks good is not always good. What sounds true is not always true. Many people are misled because they lack the ability to see beyond what is presented to them. But when you have spiritual discernment, you are not easily fooled. You do not fall for empty promises or manipulative words. You do not chase after things that are temporary because you recognize what is lasting. You do not allow emotions to cloud your judgment because you trust the wisdom that is guiding you. This discernment also grows over time. The more you listen to it, the stronger it becomes. The more you trust it, the clearer it gets. But those who ignore it, those who second guess that inner knowing, often find themselves making mistakes that could have been avoided. It is not just a gift, it is a responsibility. It is a sign that you are being led, that you are being protected, that you are being set apart for something greater. People will notice this in you. They will come to you for advice, not understanding why you always seem to know the right thing to do. They will see that your choices are different, that you do not rush into things like others do, that you carry a wisdom that is beyond your years, and that is because you are not walking blindly. You are being guided by something greater, something that sees beyond the present moment and leads you into what is best. Spiritual discernment is one of the most valuable gifts you can have. It will save you from heartbreak, from wasted time, from unnecessary battles. It will direct you to opportunities meant for you and steer you away from things that could destroy you. It is a sign that something divine is following you, guiding you, and ensuring that you are always exactly where you need to be. And when you recognize this, you will no longer move through life with uncertainty. You will walk in confidence, knowing that every step you take is being divinely led. There comes a time in life when the things that once satisfied no longer do. The temporary pleasures of the world lose their appeal, and a deeper longing begins to stir within. This is not an ordinary desire. It is a hunger for something more, something real, something eternal. It is a craving that no amount of success, wealth, or entertainment can satisfy. It is a sign that you are being drawn toward truth, toward righteousness, toward something greater than yourself. This hunger does not come from personal effort or discipline alone. It is placed within you, awakening a desire to seek what is right, to walk in integrity, to live a life of meaning rather than just existence. Have you ever felt an unexplainable need to distance yourself from things that once entertained you? Have you ever noticed that conversations that once seemed normal now feel empty? Have you ever felt restless, knowing deep inside that there is more to life than what you have been chasing? That is a sign of transformation, a sign that you are being called to a higher way of living. When this hunger begins to grow, you find yourself drawn to truth, even when it is uncomfortable. You no longer settle for half-truths or convenient lies because something within you longs for what is real. You begin to question the things that the world accepts as normal, recognizing that not everything popular is right. You seek wisdom, not just knowledge. You desire understanding, not just information. Not just information. You yearn for a life that aligns with something greater than fleeting pleasure. This hunger also manifests in the way you see others. You begin to care deeply about justice, about kindness, about doing what is right, even when no one is watching. You become more aware of your words, your actions, and the impact they have. What once felt insignificant now feels urgent. You want to live with purpose, to make a difference, to be a light in a world that seems increasingly dark. One of the clearest signs of this transformation is the way your priorities shift. The things that once consumed your time and attention no longer hold the same power over you. You start valuing peace over chaos, truth over comfort, and righteousness over approval. You no longer feel the need to prove yourself to the world because you are being led by something higher. Your spirit is drawn to things that feed your soul rather than things that entertain your mind for a moment. This hunger does not make life easier. It makes it clearer. It removes distractions, it exposes deception, and it reveals what truly matters. It leads you to people who share the same pursuit of truth and distances you from those who prefer to stay in darkness. It forces you to make choices, to stand firm when others waver, to remain steadfast when the world tempts you to compromise. But the most powerful thing about this hunger is that it does not go away. The more you feed it, the stronger it becomes. The more you seek truth, the more you desire it. The more you walk in righteousness, the less appealing sin becomes. You find joy in doing what is right, not because of reward, but because it brings a deep, unshakable peace. You no longer live for approval, but for purpose. You no longer seek temporary satisfaction, but eternal fulfillment. People will notice the change in you. They will see that your desires are different, that your words carry weight, that your presence brings something refreshing. They may not understand it, but they will be drawn to it. They will wonder why you no longer chase the things they do, why you are not swayed by the opinions of the world, why you seem to walk with a confidence that is not based on status or success. And the reason is simple. You are being led by something greater, something that is filling you with a hunger that only truth and righteousness can satisfy. This hunger is a gift. It is a sign that you are being set apart, prepared for something meaningful, called to live differently. It is not a burden, but a blessing, a divine invitation to step into a life that is richer, deeper, and more fulfilling than anything this world can offer. And once you embrace it, there is no turning back. You will never again be satisfied with anything less than what is true, what is right, and what is eternal. There is a love that is not ordinary, a love that cannot be explained by human effort alone. It is a love that goes beyond emotions, beyond circumstances, beyond personal gain. It is a love that sees beyond flaws, that forgives without conditions, that extends kindness even to those who do not deserve it. When this kind of love begins to flow through you, it is a sign that something greater is working in your life. It is not natural, it is supernatural, it is supernatural. It is not forced, it overflows. This love does not come from the world. The world teaches love that is conditional, love that is given only when it is earned, love that is exchanged for something in return. But this love is different. It loves the unlovable. It reaches out to the broken. It offers kindness even when there is no reason to. It does not keep records of wrongs, does not demand perfection, does not seek its own benefit. It is a love that transforms, that heals, that restores. Have you ever found yourself feeling compassion for someone you once disliked? Have you ever forgiven someone who never apologized, not because they deserved it, but because something inside you refused to hold on to bitterness? Have you ever helped someone who could never repay you, simply because you felt moved to do so? This is not normal. It is a sign that something divine is working in you, softening your heart, changing your nature, making you a vessel of love. This love does not mean you ignore truth. It does not mean you tolerate injustice or accept wrongdoing. But it means that even when you correct, you do it with kindness. Even when you speak truth, you do it with grace. Even when you confront darkness, you do it with a heart that desires healing rather than destruction. When love and compassion begin to overflow from your life, people will notice. They will see that you respond differently, that you do not repay evil for evil, that you carry a peace and kindness that is rare in this world. They will wonder how you can show grace to those who hurt you, how you can extend patience in frustrating situations, how you can love even when there is nothing to gain. And the answer is simple. This love is not from you. It is flowing through you. This kind of love changes relationships. It heals wounds that seemed impossible to heal. It softens hearts that were once hardened. It restores what was once broken. People who have been hurt by life, who have been rejected and abandoned, begin to experience something different when they are around you. They feel safe. They feel valued. They feel seen, not because of anything you say, but because of the love that flows through you. This love is not weak. It is powerful. It is the kind of love that overcomes hatred, that dissolves bitterness, that turns enemies into friends. It is the kind of love that can break generational cycles of pain and replace them with healing. It is the kind of love that cannot be manufactured by human effort, but only by something greater working through you. And the most beautiful part, the more you give it, the more you receive. The more you pour out love, the more your heart is filled. The more you choose kindness, the more joy you experience. The more you forgive, the lighter your soul becomes. This love is endless, abundant, overflowing. It never runs out. People will be drawn to you, not because of your words, not because of your achievements, but because of the love they feel when they are near you. They will sense that there is something different about you, something pure, something real. They will want to know why you love so freely, why you forgive so easily, why you carry such compassion. And in that moment, you will know that this love is not from you. It is a sign that something divine is leading your life, shaping your heart and using you to bring light into the world. If you have recognized even one of these signs in your life, you are not alone. This presence is real. It is leading you, calling you, transforming you. And once you recognize it, you can never go back to who you were before. So I ask you, are you ready to embrace it? Because when you do, you will never walk alone again.